Here we go then. Watch out for Kevin Cable and Kyle Masters. And then, of course, it's Kirk and Smithy second on the grid. So what's going to happen on the run to paddock? Look to the top left. There's the lights. Here we go. And away they go for the second time this weekend in the British Sidecar Championship. Ellis and Richardson have had a good start from that 5th row of the grid. Watch out, of course, for Steve Kershaw as well. He's coming from 10th, but into paddock for the first time. Bit of contact there mid-grid, just as we saw yesterday, but all clean so far on the run up to Druids, and it's Brian Gray with the lead.
The veteran Brian Gray, he knows his way around Brands. He's ridden here in Grand Prix back in the day. So Brian Gray on the Brian Gray power biking Yamaha. He and Jason Pitt with Kevin Cable, the pole position man, in second. Then you've got Kershaw and you've got Ellis tucked in there behind, and Ben Holland in his Ricky Stevens teammate in the same JG Speedfit colours there.
What a lead for the High Wycombe man. Brian Gray and Jason Pitt absolutely in a different league so far, as everybody else sorts themselves out into Surtees for the first time. Look, they're gone already. Number 5, second place, Rob Biggs and Jerome Schmitz. Good start for them. And there's the number 1 of Kershaw cutting through.
I did say to you when we were in the press centre, watch out for Rob Biggs. There, sorry, Matt McLaurin and A.D. Hope out of the running. Sadly for them, the number 25 crew. Ben Holland and Lee Watson on the sole remaining JG Speedfit. Kawasaki now in second place. Rob Biggs, Jerome Schmitz. This is going to be fantastic stuff, isn't it?
This is great stuff, and what a shame for McLaurin as well. Out of the race for the second time in 2 days. Well, it never rains, but it pours. At least it's not raining literally here at Brands Hatch at the moment, as Kershaw cuts through on Kevin Cable. Remember, Kershaw 10th on the grid, Cable on the grass. How did he hold that one?
He did, that's the important thing. Gary Bryan and Phil Hyde, the number 2, ahead of Kevin Cable. Gary Bryan not riding the 600 as quickly as he has done.
Now, look at Kevin Cable on the left-hand side. Kyle Masters, the passenger. Oh, he just kept calm there. He didn't panic, did he? Exactly how you need to react, but that was a focusing moment on the outside of Sheen Curve.
Yeah, and a new passenger for Kevin Cable. Carl Masters has come up from club racing, and he's done a great job. There is Andy Peach on the red and white life safety outfit, the number for Andy Peach, looking really, really strong with Ken Edwards. They're going well. They're ahead of Kershaw, and they're on the outside now of Rob Biggs and Jerome Schmitz on the Taurus Tools Honda. Oh. Andy Peach, I said he'd go well.
Yeah, you did. Well predicted. Kershaw cutting through, though, like the proverbial knife through butter. Here he comes up the inside of Bottom Bend. Oh, and looking over his shoulder there as the passenger. That's Andy Peach and Ken Edwards. Ken Edwards looking right behind him, and you can see the reigning British 2018 champions. Now Kershaw on the right. Oh, it's not going to be easy, of course, to pass an experienced hand like Andy Peach. He's not going to let them through that easily. Side by side at the front in the meantime. On the left, Brian Gray. Round the outside goes Todd Ellis. Todd Ellis storming through, of course, Barry, from 9th on the grid.
Yeah, Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson, teammates to the current reigning champions Kershaw and Clark. Todd Ellis, 600 Cup winner last year. My money was always on him going well. Chaz Richardson and he weren't so startling at Alton Park, but they got a 7th place, I think, at Alton Park.
Ben Holland really making a great run here. Now, his season sort of starts, doesn't it, really effectively this weekend, to be honest?
It does, and it does for so many of them. It does for John Holden, it does indeed for Chris Walker. Where's Chris Walker? Let's have a look further down the order. Well, Chris Walker, I can't see him. Oh, yes, I can. Yeah.
10th place it is. That's a good charge actually for Chris Walker. Electrical problem, I believe, yesterday.
Yes, it was. Yeah, both he and John Holden were out with technical problems, didn't even make the start. Holden did 1 lap. There's Ben Holland and Lee Watson, number 60, going through. Brian Gray, though, what a great job he did from the word go.
Certainly did, but that's a great charge, isn't it, now for Ben Holland? Up he goes. That's some positivity then for the team that's already lost their other crew, of course, after the incident yesterday. But just to stress, everybody's escaped major injury after that incident yesterday. And I understand, as you were informing earlier, that the Birchalls did go and apologise for that one. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they did. There was a bit of dialogue in the hospital, and he basically put his hands up and said, sorry, I went in too hot. So credit where credit's due.
Yeah, it was a bit of a desperate lunge, but there you go, it's all in the past now. Number 9 up the inside, that's Chris Walker. You were just talking about him, Barry. Well, there's the answer. He's past Gary Bryan, and that's another position then for Chris Walker as he charges up through the field. Well, Gary Bryan started this lap, actually, in 7th position. So Chris Walker, who had that electrical gremlin yesterday, charging through. Back down Pilgrim's Drop again, 34 on the left. The Christies there,
the Christie boys. Yeah, well, Chris Walker, you know, he took the whole of last season out with injury, broke his back at Cadwell Park at the tail end of 2017. So it's taken him a little while to get his mojo back, but once he gets in the groove, he'll be away.
And it was Adam Christie that we spotted actually off the outfit. He was throwing something onto the grass at the beginning of the race. I don't know whether it was a tear or strip or something like that, but anyway, he's obviously got it sorted out.
Kershaw through on Brian Gray, the early race leader. So Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark, reigning champions, sitting on top of the pile now with 45 points ahead of Todd Ellis. So the race leader, Todd Ellis, is second in the standings at the moment. Brian Gray fighting back.
Wow.
Look at that.
Oh, they're rubbing panels. He's through. Brian Gray, that's exactly what you expect from Brian, isn't it, to be fair? Lovely stuff. Well, Steve Kershaw, he's had some good scrapping, hasn't he, this weekend? He wouldn't have liked to win yesterday's race in the way he did. Brian Gray sideways, almost contact. They're all riding well to avoid contact here. This is great sidecar racing. We've been treated this weekend, the first double header of the season, for some tremendous action. The new all 600cc formula appears to be working.
It was always going to, Greg, because corner speed, yeah, that's a hand in there. That's Clark. That's Clark. That's a father and son Clark boys out of it.
And that's the Windle Yamaha, isn't it, for
it is.
them?
While we're on the subject of chassis, 40 years of LCR we're celebrating this year. 40 years of that chassis design. Where's that moment gone? Unbelievable.
It's scary how fast the time flies, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing. Whoa, and sideways. Where are you going? The number 9 is off. Chris Walker. But he's had a few agricultural moments through the barrier almost. He's back on. I've never seen anyone crash on the inside of a corner before, but he's somehow managed to get back on.
Kiss the Armco.
Unbelievable. That must have been a moment and a half for Tom Christie, surely the passenger.
Yeah, but they're all together. They've got it together. So let's have a look. I'll tell you exactly what happened there. The back broke away. The front came up. He was back to his motocrossing days. Yes. Across the grass, kissed the Armco. He was lucky he didn't hit the Armco head on. That would have given him a deja vu moment at Cadwell, I'll tell you.
And it's Ellis and Richardson who were leading by 3 seconds at the start of this lap. Holland, what a great performance from Holland and Watson.
Yeah.
Second, and then Kershaw third.
May I just say, number 58, Martin Kirk there in the yellow and black. They are now up to 8th place. He and Shelley Smith is a lady passenger. And Martin Kirk going really well on the back of Rob Biggs and looking like he might just close him down. Martin Kirk from the Midlands really races on a tight budget, in fairness, Greg, as to most of these guys, you know.
And there goes Steve Kershaw, Bazzer. He's past Ben Holland. He's up into second place on lap 6. Remember, championship points at stake here. It's 20 for second versus 16 for third. And let's not forget as well, because it might be significant by the end of the year, double points available here at Brands Hatch in the finale in mid-October, but that's a clean second place now for Kershaw. Can he close in on Ellis? Well, it's 3.8 seconds. Here's the move then, Bazzer. It's up at Druids.
Yeah, on the inside, it's a good block pass, typical. Once he's round, he's got the bike in front. There's no way Ben Holland can fight back. But fair credit to Ben Holland, the number 60 JG Speedfit Quattro plant bike in your shop now. You know, he's a big lad. He confesses to having a problem to get his weight down. He's done a good job. He stopped short of going in the gym, but he's got the bike really competitive, and he's got a feel for his racing again. He's enjoying it, and that is so important.
And I think the same can be said for these two as well. Still a little bit of water there under the bridge, but that's always the situation as you get through to clear ways, or which I accidentally called clear water, of course, when I messaged you.
You did.
Earlier in the weekend. We've had a fair amount of water around, to be fair, haven't we, this weekend? But that's a monumental lead now. That's almost 4 seconds.
It's a good gap. Kershaw Clark in second place there. Ben Holland and Lee Watson. And here we have then Brian Gray. What an admirable job he's doing, holding off the Christie brothers. And Andy Peach still there. I thought Sam and Adam Christie would home in past Andy Peach, what they've done. Rob Biggs still there. Gary Bryan in 8th. Chris Walker up to 9th again and moving forward. So Chris Walker, it was damage limitation now, but he's going to go for it. He needs to get some points on the board.
Can't believe it though. It's just come up on our timing screen. Problems for Kirk and Smithies. They were up there. They were in 8th place from second on the grid. They're dropping down our timing screen. They've got a technical problem, we've heard, and it looks as though they are out of the race. Martin Kirk and Shelley Smithies on the MK Racing LCI Yamaha. Oh, you feel for them, don't you? The pressure was on in some ways from second on the grid. They kept it all together, and here they are. They've managed to get it back into the pits. What a way for the race to end for them, but I think they can take a great deal of pride away from Brands Hatch.
Indeed they can. Sam and Adam Christie past Brian Gray now, so they move up into 4th place. And these lads, having scored so well in the World Championship last year, they're bringing their World Championship experience here. Unfortunately, as you know, we've got 3 more clashes with the World Championship, the first of which is the Hungary race when we're at Knock Hill. So that will take the Birchells out. We'll probably take the Christies out as well, which is a great pity. We need to dovetail the calendar a bit more.
Yeah. It does seem a bit of a shame, actually, considering there's only, what, 6 World Championship rounds this year. Le Mans, Hungary, Oschersleben, Assen, Croatia. And then Navarra in Spain is a new look end to the World Championship season this year. But at least the British Championship's got plenty coming up, Barry. The Cadwell Revival next weekend, and then Knock Hill. That's, what, 6 races across the next 2 weekends. That's a lot of points up for grabs.
A lot of points up for grabs, a lot of travelling for these crews, and hopefully nobody needs to do any serious damage. I hope the Birchells can get their bike repaired, because next weekend we have a championship round that comes from Cadwell Park, and we are doing a highlight show which our very dear friends here at Eurosport have agreed to show, so that will be wonderful.
Oh, that's very nice of them. That's very nice of them indeed. No, that will be great to see, won't it? And there was, of course, absolute chaos at that Cadwell round last year, so let's hope that won't be the case in 2019. More bad news, I'm afraid. Craig Hawkswell and Derek Taylor have stopped, so a fairly high rate of attrition in this one.
Yeah, you know, it's early in the season, it's only the second meeting in the season, and a lot of these bikes and guys moving to 600s, it's an untried formula for them. It's new ground in many cases, having spent a lot of money over the winter to get the bikes. They haven't really had the track time to find out if it all works.
Under the bridge comes the leader then, Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson. They started, of course, here, didn't they, at the end of last year, Ellis and Richardson, when they beat Tim Reeves in an absolute straight fight to the checkered flag.
In his own back garden, you know, which could explain why we haven't seen him at all this year.
Yes. Final lap of the race then, it's down to 2.4 seconds. It was a 34.1 for the leaders, 33.7 for second place.
Todd Ellis very wide there, using all the curb on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend and up to Druids. Kershaw will have seen that. Now, was Todd Ellis being a bit ragged, or was that deliberate just to maintain his corner speed? His corner speed is very, very high, and Chaz Richardson doing an excellent job moving his weight backwards and forwards there, the bottom on the ground, you can see that little abrasive pad, a little cushion on his left buttock there to stop him bouncing too hard on the curve. That's a knee slider.
So just a bit of a reference, I suppose, as a knee slider usually is, and to avoid injury, I suppose, too.
Indeed, yeah. It scuffs along the tarmac, and he knows that if he pushes any harder, he's going to get a hot bottom.
I'm sure he has by now on the 10th lap of 10. But Walker's charge is continuing. I'm looking at the timing screen. He's passed Brian. He's up into 8th place now, so that's not a bad run at all, is it, from Chris Walker, from pretty much the back of the grid? No. And there's more to come from Chris.
He'll take encouragement from that, because he's getting back in the groove. He's building his confidence again. He loves riding the outfit, but he said the memory of going into that tyre wall at 120 miles an hour, it's still with him. You know, it's a scary thing.
No, I bet it is. Cadwell Park, of course, that accident happened. Well, Kershaw's running out of time. Another 2 or 3 laps. It might have been a different story, but there are only 10 laps, and here we will go then. This is an incredible start to the season this year. 3 races, 3 different winners. Ellis and Richardson win race 2 at Brands Hatch. Kershaw and Clark over the line, 1.6 seconds in the end, and the fastest lap of the race for them. Ben Holland will come through for his first podium of the season with Lee Watson alongside. What a great result for them, and what a great season, I think, Barry Nutley, we have in prospect in 2019.
Indeed we do. You know, full grids. We had 30 entered here. Yeah, we had some non-starters. People didn't show. There's the man who started from pole position and really acquitted himself well, Brian Gray, on the number 7 Brian Gray power biking bike. Rob Biggs also. But to get to your point, we had 23 starters here. That's going to be the trend right through the season. It's going to be bang on, Greg. Thanks for the opportunity. I loved it.
Thanks very much, Barry. It's been a pleasure as always. Ellis and Richardson, a pleasure to commentate on them as well and see their first victory of 2019. Genuine excitement in the paddock here, because we do not know which way this Molson British Sidecars Championship will go. All on 600s this year, and the new formula really is working, wasn't it? 1.6 seconds, really good late race charge there from Kershaw and Clark, but Ellis and Richardson take their LCR Honda to their first win of the season. 3 winners from 3 races, and well done to Ben Holland as well, with Watson alongside on the podium for the first time this year. That's Christie's there, Peach and Edwards, some great performances, and Chris Walker, despite a spin, storming through to 8th position in the race and scoring 8 championship points in the process. Points, of course, down to 15th place, and don't forget there will be double points up for grabs here at Brands at the end of the season. Kevin Cable and Kyle Masters from their pole position this afternoon, finishing in 11th place. So number 111 finishes in position 1-1.